going on, you guys? Welcome back to the Garden Room Podcast. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Mari, and I'm so excited you clicked on this video today. And these are just 5 to 10 minute devotional videos to hopefully encourage you throughout your week. And so today we're going to be talking about a chapter in 2 Kings. We're going through chapter 5, and I just want to run through the first part of this chapter because it was so good when I was reading it the other day. And 2 Kings has been a book that's been really teaching me a lot recently. And so yeah, let's get right into it. The section is about how Naaman or Naaman, or however you want to say it, was healed of leprosy. So verse 1, now Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. He was a valiant soldier, but he had leprosy. And when I read that last verse and was just thinking about all these great things, all these great titles they just went through, all these great accolades that this man had, that but in the middle of that, but he had leprosy, was the main thing that everybody probably saw about him. Because back then when people had leprosy, no one wanted to come near you, no one wanted to be around you, didn't really even want to be associated with you. It just was such a terrible disease to have. And so when you're labeled with that, when you have that, you can have a lot of great things going on, but it is the main primary thing that people recognize you for. And the main focus of today's topic is, what is that one thing you feel like everyone only sees? Because for this man, it was leprosy. So going to the next verse, it says, now bands of raiders from Aram had gone out and had taken captive a young girl from Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, if only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy. And so in continuation, Naaman went to his master and told him what the girl from Israel had said. By all means, go. The king of Aram replied, I will send a letter to the king of Israel. So Naaman left, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. The letter that he took to the king of Israel read, with this letter, I am sending my servant Naaman to you so that you may cure him of his leprosy. As soon as the king of Israel had read this letter, he tore his robes and said, am I God? Can I kill and bring back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be cured of his leprosy? See how he is trying to pick a quarrel with me. When Elijah, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes, he sent him this message. He said, why have you torn your robes? Have this man come to me, and he will know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman went to his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elijah's house. Elijah sent a messenger to say to him, go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be cleansed. But Naaman went away angry and said, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord, his God, and wave his hand over the spot and cure me of my leprosy. And we see right here from his reaction, he had a whole different story, plot, and all these different things that was lined up in his head in terms of how he thought it was going to go. And I don't know about you guys, but there's been a lot of times where I kind of daydreamed of when God was going to fix this in my life and when this was going to get restored over here. And I had this exact kind of just thought process of how I thought it was going to go. And when it didn't really happen like that, then I kind of had a similar reaction where I was like, I thought God was going to do this. I thought this person was going to do that. I thought it was going to go this way. And so now I'm sitting here like, what is going on? That doesn't even make sense. But it says, the rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel. Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed? So he turned and went off in rage. And I just want to stop right there, and we will continue just the rest of the story in part 2 of this. But as we talk about just these scriptures and just go on this journey of Naaman and his healing and his life, then I just want to highlight these things because first and foremost, it is so easy to be labeled by that one thing that you've either done or that one thing that your family is known by or whatever it is that you feel like, man, this is just labeling me. And if I could just strip this label off, I would be free. I'd be able to let it go. But I do want to remind you too that whether he got his healing from leprosy or not, it is so important that we know who we are in Christ. And that one thing does not define who you truly are. It may be the only thing that people see you as on the exterior, the only thing that people know you as, and you feel like this is always going to be who I am. But you have to know who you are and who Christ has called you to be. And secondly, when it comes down to the things that we have expectations for God and we felt like we only thought God would work on it in this way and he'd only come through in that way, then it's another thing that we have to learn to be obedient. And even in the things that it doesn't make sense that God has called us to do. And so I want to remind you as we pause right here and we just sit on this first half of the story that God is still writing a story in your life and he is still working on you and he's still molding you. And so when it comes down to you trying to seek for healing, seek for help, seek for all these different things that you need from God or either from other people that God is trying to work through, allow them to speak over your life and take time to ask God and say, God, is this you? God, should I do this? And God, help me to trust and be bold and have faith and have confidence in you and what you're saying and not just in my own thoughts. Because clearly he was enraged. He was upset. He was not ready for that response. Go dip in the Jordan and get cleansed. Go dip several times. He's probably like, do you know what I look like? I've been suffering for this for years. I'm the commander of this army. I've been doing all these things. Like, I'm not finna go do that. And he was upset. He was enraged. He was like, I just went and came to your house, and now you're going to go tell me to go dip in the Jordan. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. But how many times do we see that God is doing things that works way outside of what we think makes sense? And that's what faith is called. And so, yeah, I just want to remind you guys of that as we talk about this word and go through these scriptures and this story, because it can be so easy to be trapped and entangled in our own mindsets, and we can be hindering ourselves from the healing we're supposed to get, whether that's spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and we can really put a standstill on what God is trying to do. And so, yeah, as we wrap up, I'm just so thankful that you guys are here and that we get to dive into the scriptures together and just kind of change up things a little bit. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Be sure to click on part 2, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.